Hello and welcome back to Brick Army. My name's Steve and today we have a build for you from Sembo, the JU88, and I can honestly say I've only ever seen one of these before, which is by Kobe, so we'll see how this lives up to that. Anyway, usual routine, we'll have a 60-second speed build, we'll have some pics of the finished model, and then we'll get a review. So let's crack on and build. Welcome back. Right, the Sembo JU88. First of all, the instructions. Normally we've got used to instructions by Sembo being proper books with lots of additional information and being really very, very good indeed. This, on the other hand, is slightly different. It's basically A5 and it's pretty basic. And if anything, rather simplistic. There's 140 odd phases in here. This book could easily have been half of that. So you get a lot of things with two bricks there, 2 bricks there, 2 bricks there, 3 bricks there. So there's perhaps a lot more they could have condensed this somewhat. Now it does say on here, the only other real bit of English on here is Empires of Steel. Now I'm assuming, and I could be completely wrong on this, but I'm going to assume that this is supposed to be from a cheaper, perhaps more child-friendly range that they've been doing, that they'll have X amount of models in this Empire of Steel collection. So tailor your expectations a bit. I'm trying to bring them down from some of the other Sembo models we've had. Now the bricks themselves, they all fitted together quite nicely. There's no discoloration, nothing missing, and nothing is warped, which is always a good start. Overall, the general proportions for this are reasonable. The fuselage could be being a little longer here, but otherwise it's pretty much all there. There are some nice little touches to it. I do like particularly the front of the wing, and the way that they've done their engines actually is really quite nice. And the propellers, it's pretty good. So the big feature, I suppose you'd want to call it, on this, which you've got to give them effort for trying something different. However, I don't really think it does work. Is you've got this for the ailerons. You have this little gear here that will, as you can see, make them turn. The trouble is that there's not enough resistance there a lot of the time to hold the ailerons in place. So if you put it down, like that, they flop. and they do tend to spend half their time down like that. So, as I say, fair play for trying something different, but I think they've overcomplicated a problem that actually wasn't there in the first place. There are plenty of ways to make ailerons move that are far more reliable and far simpler than this. There are other little bits and pieces where you think, really? The whole tailplane at the back here is a bit... The rudder's fine, it's a reasonable shape, but the tailplane, essentially each side consists of, what, four bricks plonked together. So it's been done in a sort of very cheapy sort of way. And while it does do the job, considering the effort they put into the actual wings themselves, they could have put a bit more effort into that tailplane. So, hey, perhaps the designer was told, right, you must do this in 500 bricks, and he was just running out of bricks to do it with the back. Who knows? Canopy does open. Now, unusually with this, particularly for a plain model, you actually have 5 minifigures. So I've stuck one in there as a pilot, as there is room for him. There we go, little man. And then you've got you also get a little bit of scenery. So there's 2 soldiers in there and 2 more soldiers in there. The minifigures themselves, they're excuse me, they're pretty basic, on the more basic side of things again, which sort of reinforces my idea that this is a more basic, child-friendly, perhaps, range, the Steel Empires thing that Sembo have done, hence why it's not up to their usual quality. The undercarriage underneath is quite reasonable. It's not bad at all, although I've noticed one side has started to get a little bit loose, which is a little bit of a shame. And one other unusual thing that they've got here, these are bombs. You feed bombs into bomb hole. Close the bomb hole, have it up, and then you bomb things. Which made me laugh for a minute or two, and yeah, they'll last what, about a minute before any child loses those, or at least one of those. So again, and we've just bombed something. So hey, if it keeps the kids amused for a little bit, it's worth it. But yes, interesting little experiment with the bomb doors there. So how much did I pay for this? Well, now this is a little bit confusing, because I don't actually have any record of buying this, as bizarre as it sounds. The company that I think I bought it from have recently changed their website, and you had to make a new account, which meant that I don't have access to any of the old orders that I've made. Now I do keep a separate spreadsheet, and on that I've got £23.03. Now I'm assuming that that's the price plus whatever share of postage was in that particular order for this model. Now it's 559 pieces in the kit, but you would have probably the best part of 50 for that, so let's go for 500 on this. Is it worth £23? I can't say it is really. It's a fun little model, and for potentially a group of models, or model in a series that perhaps is aimed at kids for being easier, there are a few little tricky parts of this. So for older kids, 10 and upwards maybe, but certainly not for younger kids. At £23, I'd be, yeah, I'd probably be passing on this one, I have to say. Although, as I said before, I think I've only ever seen Kobe do one before. I'll have to check, but I don't think even Slubin do a JU88. Which is a shame, because it's a really fascinating aircraft. I mean, it was a very much multi-role aircraft. A lot of people think it was a light bomber, but you know, it was a torpedo bomber, even a dive bomber at one point, night fighter, reconnaissance. I mean, this is actually the second most produced bomber in history, believe it or not. So I think it deserves a decent model. Unfortunately, this isn't it, which is a real shame, because, as I say, Sembo have done some cracking models already. But yeah, this one I'd pass on, but it's a fun little thing for what it is. But yeah, not the greatest in the world. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.